What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show, Clock's Running, the podcast for everything flag football officials. I'm your host, Ant, and we have a huge show today as we review East Coast Nationals. So let me just get right into it and bring on tonight's guest. First and foremost, we have the 5 foot assassin himself, Chum. What up?
What's up, baby? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to hear from you again, brother. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And next up, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Tom Brady. Oh, I mean Lance Lou. What up? What up, Lance?
What's up, boys? It's good to
Brother.
see you.
Oh man, Chun, I don't know if you noticed, Lance has been playing quarterback lately. He bruised up his whole arm because he's been slinging the rock so hard.
Let me
Oh,
tell you
Jesus Christ.
something. I will pay for footage of Lance playing football if anybody has it.
It's just look on IG.
Yeah,
On IG.
right.
All right, cool. Let's get right into the topics tonight. Right before the show started, Chun, you brought up a topic, so I want to just jump into that one and let's get it going.
Okay.
So, with flag football, we normally have a uh, few crew sizes, 2, 3, 4 man crews. So Chun, the floor is yours. What do you want to talk about?
I I mean, somehow me and Lance were bumping heads already on the topic, and we didn't get to have it on live footage. I dislike 3 and 4 man crews. As a director, I probably shouldn't say that. It doesn't help the ref staff to be cut down, but having six set of eyes, 8 set of eyes, and still miss a call, that's ridiculous. I prefer 2 guys, and I just live and die with the 2 guys I got. That's just me.
Okay, so essentially, what you think is just with an extra set of eyes or two, there should be perfection. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to think about in the old days, you and Lance on the field. I had 2 good refs. I knew that field over there was going to be good. If I had a field that had a superior ref and a trash ref, then I had to understand he's going to be coaching this guy all game. Let's take advantage of it. But give me a field, and I have Ant, I have Jordan, I have Lance, and y'all still miss calls. Yeah, that's horrible. Who do I complain to then?
Well, I guess one person you complain to is Lance. So, Lance, what do you think about what Chun just said?
So I'm going to take a step back here.
Okay.
In any form of organized football,
Okay.
you can have refs, a 4 man crew, 5 man crew in high school, up to a 9 man crew, seven on the field crew in the pros, and you still have people saying, "How did you miss that?"
Okay.
So you will always have that.
Okay.
Get that. Totally understand. And maybe we're out of position. Maybe we didn't see it. Maybe we're like looking up at the sky. Don't know. But I will say that there are specific things, and you are well aware of this. In a good 3 and 4 man crew, when we have the ability to say, I don't have to worry about this because I'm going to focus on one thing and one thing only. Like in a 4 man crew, if I'm behind the quarterback, I don't care about anything else except QB catching the ball and impede. Literally, that's the only thing I look for. So in a 2 man crew, I guarantee you, I know how to manipulate it so that I can impede all day, every day, and you will never see it from the sideline.
Okay, that's a good thing.
So to have a 4 man crew, it's a great thing. That's what I want. As a player,
So,
what you're saying is you want to manipulate what you have. And I get that. That's fine. But you're basically taking away from the integrity of the game, which
Well,
I dislike.
first,
But you're using it to your advantage, which I'm okay with because you're using what you got. And that's fine. I'm okay with that.
well, let's go back to one of the points you made. Integrity and flag football don't go together. I think we are. Uh,
I hate to disagree, but I will agree to disagree.
okay. So then my point being is you probably sharpen your skills, both of you guys, being on 2 man crews. Am I correct? You didn't become a better ref being on a 3 and a 4 man crew.
I actually disagree.
I disagree as well, Chun. I'm going to go ahead and say this in a 2-man crew, especially like you brought up an example. If it's a seasoned ref and a ref that's inexperienced, there's a lot of cheating happening, and so I would actually say that there's so much going on that you actually don't become a better ref. You're actually missing a lot more things because, for example, I'll give you a perfect example of a mistake that I made in a co-ed pro game this past weekend. I was in a 2-man crew, and I knew it was basically the last play of the game or the last play of the game that mattered. They had to convert on 3rd down, or it was going to be a turnover. The other team would run out the clock. So I cheated downfield because I knew that I needed to see the action downfield more than anything, and I missed that a male quarterback threw the ball instead of a female quarterback.
You missed
because because my eyes came downfield and a pitch happened in the backfield. So that's an example of where I cheated my eyes early to try to help the action downfield, and I actually missed that that there was a pitch that happened and the male quarterback threw it. Now my partner on that field, he happened to be looking in the wrong position, and he was looking in the backfield at the quarterback, so he saw what happened. But those kind of things can definitely happen in a 2-man crew where you miss things that happen in the backfield, whether it's a handoff or a pitch or a roughing the passer, because you're trying to cheat downfield and see more stuff. Lance, am I right?
You are absolutely right, because and I'm assuming you were on the line of scrimmage in a 2-man crew,
Correct.
right? So
Correct.
in a 2-man crew in the line of scrimmage, there's the blind spot is the middle flats, because you're looking at the quarterback and you want to make sure you have the safety of the QB plus the impede. The downfield guy is downfield, so if they're pressing on him and kind of he's getting threatened, so he has to look downfield. Who's looking in the middle of the field in the flats from the 5 to 10 yard zone? Who's looking? Chun. Who's looking?
When
Who's looking? If you're being pressed, if you're no. If you have a line of scrimmage and I'm looking at the QB to ensure that the flag is being pulled or whatever, so it's not me. And so as the downfield judge, you are being pressed. You've got 3 people going deep, plus you got 3 defenders going deep. So what are you looking at? You're looking at the deepest person. You have been told by your white hat or by everybody else, do not get beat deep. So you're running downfield to watch the deep ball. But in the interim, that 5th player that runs a 10-yard stop, the defender just destroys them. Who's seeing it? And who's seeing that?
I don't know if y'all saw that pause, but there was a pause.
That was on you.
Okay, gotcha.
So, who's seen that? In a 2-man crew, who's seen that?
Both of you should.
How?
How do we see that?
How do we do that? How would we do that?
Because you're a good fucking ref. Sorry, pardon me. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, on the flip side of that, how do you miss that when it's 3 or 4 of y'all?
Okay, so now hold on. Now that's a very different story, because I will say in Miami, for example, we basically had 3 or 4 man crews the entire weekend. Okay. And not only that, I can speak for my own field. I can't speak for all the debauchery that was going on Lance's field. But on me and Jordan's field, when we had 3 or 4 man crews, I was actually seeing a lot more action. So Jordan was behind the quarterback, and I was in the defensive backfield. And so I was seeing for example, they were called Los Reyes at the time, but some guys that normally play with YTG that are DBs, seasoned DBs, every time a wide receiver goes on any route in the middle of the field, they're going to hook them. They're going to hold them. They're going to grab them. They're going to do something. I saw that every single time it happened. because we were on a 4-man crew and my focus was right there. And there was nothing else for me to look at the start of the play. And then as the play developed and I was going downfield, I'm not getting beat because I'm farthest downfield. So I'm seeing those things. Now, whether or not a official wants to throw those flags because maybe they primarily officiate contact and so they want to let guys play a little bit. When I officiate non-contact, whether it's pro or rec, and I have the ability to work on a 4-man crew, I am going to call that game very tight, and there's going to be a lot of flags. Now, I can't speak as far as what it looks like on other fields. Lance, you want to talk about how you think a 3 or 4-man crew goes?
So to iterate, in any format, 2, 3, or 4, the focus of what you're looking for changes. So that being said, there are some officials that do need some reminding on, like, hey, I need you to focus on this in this area. Sometimes more so than more often than I care to, but it's something that we continuously work on. So I get it, Chun. I'm not saying you're not wrong. Even in college, and they've got a 7-man crew. NFL's got a 7-man crew. You can make the same argument. Hey, how come they're missing everything? How come they're still missing it? You could put 20 sets of eyes on something, and to be honest with you, probably still going to miss some stuff.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is keep it to the point where we have more sets of eyes. So what I try and do is, as a reminder throughout the game, throughout the day, as players come up to me and say, hey, I'm getting tugged here, I'm getting pulled here, I'm very conscious of that. And I'm saying, hey, whoever's responsibility in that area is like, hey, you need to watch for this, watch for the, to your point, and like watch for the 10-yard digs on the hooks, watch for the stop and go, pulls, things like that. And then the flip side of it is, don't be afraid to throw the flag. I'm okay if you throw the flag and we're just going to call it and move on. If they argue with you, don't worry about it. Just make the call. I will take the brunt of it, mark it off, and move on. If you see it, call it. Don't worry about anything else. And that's, from my perspective, if it's something where we have good sets of eyes on it, they get accustomed to seeing what they're seeing. And to Ant's point, you have the ability with a 4-man crew, even with, in some cases, a 3-man crew, to call the game a little bit tighter, because you have an extra set of eyes that you don't have to worry about a specific area. You don't have to your point, Ant, you don't have to cheat. Like, I get it. I like cheat too, because I'm walking down the field on the snap. Like, first down coming out, I actually walk down the field. I'm assuming they're going to catch something, and I know where the ball is going to be, where the line of scrimmage is going to be. So I'll just cheat down the field a couple yards, give myself a head start. I lose a little bit of perception if the ball is dropped in the end zone, if it's like right by the line, if it's a safety or not. I lose a little bit of that, but I'm also kind of cheating forward to catch up. So there's a give and take. So, but I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I'm agreeing to disagree with your statement.
Sean, I'm saying you're wrong. And also, I want to say, consider your source, because I have a feeling all weekend you had a few Dallas players coming up to you and whining the entire weekend about officials. So, let's be real, man. We know how Dallas runs it.
Let's just say that it wasn't a great weekend for Dallas teams and players up in Virginia. But yeah, it was no complaining from any of the players. It's just what I've endured myself. I personally don't. I think the larger crew on the field allows you to be lazy while you're officiating.
I can see that. Not
placing these guys on the fields with you guys, we know there's a rhyme and reason to who goes where. And it's because, Lance can carry him or Ant can carry him. And y'all don't know that's what we're saying behind your back. But
I know that's what you're saying.
yeah,
I know exactly.
but we don't say
What?
that.
Absolutely.
But if it's a two, don't say that though.
I don't.
I mean, I know that I was with Lance almost all weekend because he had to carry me all weekend. So I get it. I understand what was going on.
Especially in contact, right, Ant?
For sure, in contact, absolutely in contact. Hey, I mean, that's a really perfect example, though, as far as the difference between 2 and 3 man crew. Chun, this is coming from somebody that's had kids. I don't know if you've ever heard the saying that 1 kid to 2 kids isn't too big of a difference, but 2 to 3 is a massive difference, right? So
Especially
I think
on the tax returns, yes.
so I think the same. I think the same thing. Where from 2 to 3 might not be a huge difference, but then 2 to 4 is a really big difference. In contact though, me and Lance, we ran two, almost the majority of the time, and our focus was very different. Lance had to cover the quarterback and all the action in the trenches, and I had to handle everything downfield. And in contact, that's a lot to keep your eyes on. And I guarantee you that me and Lance missed a huge amount of stuff. Now, we had a third official added, and whether or not we were carrying him or he was staying on, focused or whatever, it gave the opportunity for Lance to then move behind the quarterback to be able to see more and me be on the line of scrimmage and then handle that first 15 yards past the line. So maybe downfield we might have missed something, but we had more probably of the action handled with that 3 man crew. So that's just my thoughts on it. I appreciate the topic you brought up, Chun. I want to get into something that it just seems like in general, coed is just exploding. More and more people want to play coed. So I just want to take a moment. This is a podcast for officials. So, Lance, can you just kind of review what an operative player is real quick and just kind of break that down for us?
An operative player is either a female that is throwing a forward pass or it's catching a forward pass. And if she's catching the forward pass, the result of the play must be on the line of scrimmage. That makes that simplifies it. All the other pitching crap that you see doesn't matter. If she's catching the original forward pass, if she's throwing the original forward pass, and everything happen, and all the end of the plays at beyond the line of scrimmage, that works just fine.
Yeah, and then defensively, if a female intercepts it, she can score 9 as long as she doesn't pitch it. Correct.
Correct.
And a female rusher, she gets extra points for a safety or no?
Not according, unfortunately, at this time, and not according to the rules.
Right.
That is under discussion.
I mean, I'm just saying, as a former rusher, I feel like if a female rusher sacks the quarterback, she should get and gets the safety, she should get 3. I don't know. But
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying it's. So actually, I have a question for you, Chun, and this is something I've seen more and more.
Okay.
And like this is one of those topics of discussions as we move forward, especially with the predominant amount of co-ed games that are coming.
Okay.
You have a breakaway, right? And they want to score 9. Guy does what he's supposed to do, drops it at the 1.
Mm-hmm.
What is the value, or do you feel that's the right thing to do? I keep telling people, watch the contact, and it's very hard, especially in a 2-man crew, because you're watching 8 people try and avoid contact. We have thought about out here for Tuesday Night League, we're thinking about making it any scoring, be it guy, girl, that occurs inside of the 5 yards, inside the no run zone, is 6 points, no matter what. That avoids contact, people getting blown up on the ends, people like, what everyone's doing. They push up, come underneath, delay, come underneath. And it's hard as refs because technically speaking, they're not initiating contact. They're basically giving the defense is backing up, so they're not, the right of place is no longer there. So one of the things that we've been talking about are like, how do we avoid that? Because we don't think we're benefiting the game if it's just a quick flip. Make the game, again, goes back to the integrity of the game. Hey, is this what we want to do with the game? What are your thoughts on something like that?
I kind of like the idea of it because I am against the whole co-ed format. I'm so sorry to say that's probably bad business for me, but I'll just go on record and saying it. I didn't grow up playing football with girls. I want to play football with girls now. I don't understand the desire to do it, but from what I'm hearing from the people that like it, they tell me that it's the strategy of it makes the game more interesting. So the 6-9 point, demographic of the game, I get it. But if a gender player, female player, however we want to, use the right pronoun with those things, if she can intercept my pass or pull my flag, her score should not be more. I disagree with it altogether. So that premise of taking away the 9 points with inside the 5, I kind of like that off the top because I don't think it should be 9. I think every third play, the open and close situation, I do like that, but I don't like their points being more. I just don't like it.
So, I mean, ultimately in that scenario, Chun, then what's going to happen is that a guy will have a breakaway and then he'll just down it on the 6. I mean, that's the loophole, right? And
be the loophole, and it's going to look retarded, and we'll have it on film.
Yeah, I mean, I've officiated a league out here that they run sevens co-ed, and they do not give extra points. Regardless, what they do, it's every 3 plays. The 3 plays can include the touchdown. So sometimes the extra point is a gender play. They use like a normal 7-man field. So there's 4 downs and there's multiple first downs, which makes keeping track of the gender play really confusing. The other thing they do is when it's a gender play, all the guys have to essentially get off the field. The only guys that can be on the field are the quarterback and the rusher. And so then it becomes basically 3-on-3 for the females because there has to always be three females on the field. So that's how they handle a gender play. The only thing that I don't like about that there isn't a reward and more points is simply the loophole for that is if it's a gender play and it's second down, for example, you just throw the ball at a female's feet and you've done it, and then you go back to then it just becomes men's flag football again. So Sean, I will agree with you as far as not liking co-ed, but it's for a very different reason. What I don't like about co-ed is I think that men already have too much of an ego when it comes to flag football. The fact that they might get beat by a female player drives them crazy. And I have seen men in co-ed games hurt women. And to me, that is what is wrong with co-ed. I think that at some point, men in this sport need to swallow their pride and understand that none of them are really pros. And and they need to let women take this game over and just be okay with it.
And I want you to pay attention to Lance because he realizes he's the only one out of us that's not going to get hate mail after this podcast.
Because I play. I play like Tuesday Night League is co-ed, right? And when I run my offense, it's like first play, I'm always going to get it to a girl because I do not want to get fourth and closed. So from a strategy, you have to think more. It is definitely more thinking in terms of like, hey, I don't want to get fourth and close. How do I avoid that? Or I'm down, technically speaking, one score. I can actually make 12 points on one scoring drive. So how do I do that? So it actually forces you to think. And like you gotta like, hey, we're gonna go get a female touchdown right now. Hey, run that, and then we're gonna go for 2 points, and I'm gonna get a 2-pointer with the female. That's my 12 points. And then we tie the game. So it forces you to think a little from a strategic. But I get what you're saying, Ant, and I totally agree. There are some people, even locally here, that I'm like, dude, you're not that good. And I don't know why you're fronting a girl. If you got to do that, you got other issues, right? I'm all for
too, though.
What?
It sounds like a relationship ender too. Like imagine.
Absolutely.
Meeting a female.
Absolutely.
Y'all get along. You take her out to the coed league. You throw her a wide out, and she drops it. What happened to the relationship?
Hey, we should. I'm telling you, that's actually a great podcast topic. We should get a couple.
Oh, I guess. So, I mean, hey,
sorry, don't mean to.
no, you're good. Hey, I mean, honestly, Lance, here's the best strategy: have a female quarterback. Like, and then every play is open, and you can rack up the points. And hey, I don't know the team that Jonah was playing with this past weekend, but she had some both male and female. She had some amazing players, and she scored a lot of points, a lot of points with that team. So I think we have, yes, we do. We got a guest, the man that never leaves home without his pepper spray. Jacob Black, here he is.
Hey.
What up, man?
I must say to you, your square is way fuller than the rest of us. It's either your head is no, I got background now. Okay.
There we go.
My bad, y'all. I had some family friends that just dropped in at the very last second. I was trying to get away. I couldn't. Anyways, glad to be here. Appreciate you letting me jump on.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Tell us you were stuck in the bathroom without telling us. It's okay, brother.
That's you. That's you.
Hey,
that's you.
Hey, Chun, his face does look a little red, right?
Yeah. Moving on.
All right. Oh man. Hey, I got it. I got you covered. Hey, so Jacob, we're talking about coed right now, pros and cons. So hey, if you want to just tell us, basically, Chun hates coed. Lance loves it because he can throw the ball at a female's feet.
No,
I just don't like the egos of men. What are your thoughts on coed?
So I think in a general sense, I think coed is good because it takes people who don't. It gives a better introductory to people who don't know flag football. It also gives an opportunity for some really talented females to play with some really talented males. I see I think we do a really good job with USA Flag of being inclusive and making sure that it's worthwhile for females to play. I don't think some other organizations do that, where they will allow you to lateral the ball at the 1 yard line and let a female score and it count for 9 points. But I see some really good things that we do. I also see some places where it's not the best thing in the world for
sorry.
Wrong sport, bro. For some for females to play, or even males, I don't. It's a catch-22. I like coed. It's not my absolute favorite. It makes me think the most, and it makes me have to think and wonder, like with so many different scenarios. But there's definitely it's not my least favorite format.
Okay, what's your least favorite?
8 contact.
Yeah, what's it?
Okay.
It's too slow. It's too boring. It's not for me, man. This is flag football. It's not regular football.
Gotcha.
That's easy. They also play with Fisher Price flags.
Hmm.
Anything else you want me to say, like how I feel about anything? Did I miss anything?
No,
Yeah. No, you did miss something. Chun's trying to, move on. So he brought up this crazy topic. And speaking of Eight's contact always has a 4-man crew, right? Is that, basically general?
3-man. You're good. You're doing great if you got a 4-man crew.
Okay,
a lot of times
so
we get.
three.
Don't look at me like I'm wild. We just ran 3-man crews in Richmond.
Okay, so 3 or 4-man. So Chun told me and Lance that he thinks that 2-man crews are better than 3 and 4. You agree, Jacob?
Oh my God! Why?
Shoot him now.
Why do you think that?
Well,
What your not
something.
blue line glasses mind made you think that?
You want to hear what his reasoning is? You want to hear what his reasoning is? His reasoning is hey, even with a 3 and 4-man crew, you still miss stuff. So why do we even have it? Let's just keep it at 2-man crews. You're gonna miss it anyways.
You are
That's
the cheapest
his
motherfucker ever.
That's your reason. Listen, you know it.
Let me tell you something. To have to deal with BOB, YTG, and
ABC.
They still complain with 4 and 3 refs.
Yeah. Again, so Jacob, this is exactly how I summed up his point. It's his source. I know that his Dallas friends that are playing went right up to Chun. We got to tell you about these officials. They got a 4-man crew and they're terrible. Man, consider your source. These are the same players that wear a speaker box when they referee. Come on, man. Come on.
Speaking of which, you did get the speaker box.
I think I know why you're not coming to San Antonio. I think
Hey, so I will say this: the quality of official matters. I think that's the biggest thing. Quality of if you have 2 quality officials, it's better than having 3 mediocre, right?
Bam.
Now, I would rather have 2 quality and a mediocre and have 3 sets of eyes on the field. Save that for Sunday.
I know, but I need to hide.
Oh, then go hide it in your room. Sorry. Y'all know what the deal is. Say hey, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I would rather have more sets of eyes on something and be able to come together and be able to see things from different angles. Now, perfect world, I want, even in small ball, I want 4 quality officials. I don't want 4 mediocre. If I can have quality, I'll take quality. Oh, hey. Huh? One second. But everything going on right now. Say it, Rebecca.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, but I'll take quality over quantity. I'll say that. So I'll agree with Chun to that, and I think we all agree with that.
Great.
If it's me and Lance, if it's me and Ant, if it's Ant and Lance, you guys would much rather have that than you guys and 2 guys who have never ref flagged together or ever.
Point proven, brother.
But I will say that's just, you can't just blanket it with you would rather have 2 than 3.
No, I can.
No, you can't. It doesn't. It's not all or nothing though. It's you can. There's different variables to the equation, and I really believe if you have 2 quality guys together that can work great, then I would rather have that than 3 terrible guys.
You know what happens by 3 p.m. on day 2 of a tournament with a 3 or 4-man crew?
What's that?
I'm reciting rap lyrics in my head. Those are the same tacos we were yesterday. I wonder what that food truck sells. What down is it? How many more games are left? That's what happens because you become lazy. The more officials you have on the field, the lazier you get.
Maybe that's an internal thing, Chun, that you got to work through. That's you.
That's you. That's not me and Ant. In a 4-man crew.
Wow, thanks, man.
At 3 o'clock on day 2. In a 4-man crew on day 2 at 3 o'clock, we're basically we're not looking at the clock. We're basically, hey, next, let's go. We got to go. What's the next game? While you guys are just rolling around your carts. And we're trying to say, what's our next game? We got to go.
Hey, Chun, since Lance is attacking me now because I thought I was on his side with this, how many carts have we had this year, bro?
I don't know what's wrong with Professor X in that hologram, but he started that.
Professor X has been slamming. He started slamming me, and I agreed with him.
This has become a battle royal from coast to coast. I don't know what's happening right now. But,
you know why? It's because I'm losing Ant, and that's the problem on the West Coast.
Man. I didn't realize how bitter you were going to be.
Gotcha.
John, are the body armor cooler behind you?
Yeah.
Real quick commercial break. I like to shout out it's a shameless plug. Yeah, they do a lot for the company, man. So shout out to Body Armor, man. Yeah.
There we go, Chun. And hey, and Jacob, you weren't on, but I did bring up a couple mistakes that I made during the 2-man crew in co-ed games. I will say this: there were a couple things that I did. Number one, I was cheating down the field. I was on the line of scrimmage, cheating down the field. I didn't know if a guy or girl threw the pass. Thankfully, my downfield rep happened to see it. And so I called a touchdown 9 initially. Absolute my mistake. I needed some caffeine. I was a little tired. And so thankfully, my partner helped me out in that. In that same game, I had 2 other mistakes I made. Number one, I had an offside penalty that I let fly. I let the play go. I didn't call it dead. That was a mistake I made. Also, I didn't do the math right in co-ed. And the point difference was 14. And I ran stop clock. So 2-man, 3-man, 4-man crew, we're all still human, Chun. And I want you to remember that. We all make mistakes, okay? So,
hey, Chun, did you gonna get attacked tonight?
While you're attacking Dallas, I just want to make sure that you know at any time I have this readily available. I'm gonna come on your field and be like, "This ref with these tattoos is horrible. Give me help."
You're not wearing it right. You're not wearing it around your neck.
Oh my gosh! Hey, the moment, Chun. Go ahead.
There's 2 subjects we disagree on, so I can this podcast is going lovely so far.
All right, cool. Now I gotta bring up something that brought a lot of controversy. It's a call that I made, and I'm gonna stand by it. I've looked in the rule book, and I still believe that I made the right call. So this was a co-ed championship game. Okay.
Good God.
And and I know that I caused every director stress after I made this call. So basically what happened, and so finally I get to tell my side of the story because all the directors heard someone else's side of the story. Okay, so this is what happened. I was behind the quarterback. We were on a 3-man crew. I had my man CK. He from Dallas, right, Chun?
He is, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So he was on the line of scrimmage. He was doing a great job there. So I'm behind the quarterback. My focus is the quarterback. So it's 3rd and long. This team is losing the game. They throw a pass. Clearly, the quarterback is seeing that this pass got intercepted, and he makes this yell, "Whoa!" and falls over. My flag comes out immediately because to me that was excessive, which is under the unsportsmanlike rules. Anything that's excessive that stops the play of the game is an unsportsmanlike. Because of all that happened, whether it was my flag or the yell or the flop, the DB that intercepted it slowed down instead of running it back for a pick six. So that's what I did. I threw an unsportsmanlike for a flop. Chun, your thoughts?
Well,
where's that potato?
I appreciate you for bringing this up. I was going to stay away from it.
I still want to stay away from
it. Conversation with Jacob about that very call just yesterday. It wasn't as controversial as it was made to seem. of course, the team on the losing end is going to feel worse about the call. But for any team to boast how well they know the rules, you would think they would have been able to interpret said rule and they wouldn't have taken offense to it the way they did.
Well, it went against them, so naturally.
Exactly. But I will say, if that same call was made against myself or my team, I would want a director to come over as well. But it's in the rule and it's stated. And anything that slows down or slows the process of a game or a call can be ruled or deemed as unsportsmanlike conduct. And that's what you call.
Yeah, and actually, the conversation did happen after that play about bringing a director over, and I asked the player if he wanted to call a timeout to do that, and he said no. So we moved on, and the game continued. Jacob, what are your thoughts?
So, I mean, to essentially to what you did. So I fundamentally, I'll say this. I'm a firm believer of and a firm advocate for the let people play mentality, right? You know, like don't and it's your judgments are your judgments. It's right, wrong, indifferent. You know, no matter what, it's your judgments. What we trust you to be there for to put out. To the letter of the rule, you are 1,000% right. It says any action or anything that alters the play during the game is that. So to the letter of the rule, absolutely. I think it can be a very slippery slope because I don't think it's something that's. I mean, this is a first. This was a first for me for having it happen, and called that way. Like I said, to the letter of the rule and to your judgment, that's what you called, and I'll back you on it 1,000%. I'm also a firm believer of don't put the game in the referee's hands, and I don't think that was the case either. But can't let one call affect the game. I do believe, like I said, to the letter of the rule, it's right. To what you and based on your judgment, your interpretation, it's absolutely right. I do think it can create a little bit of a slippery slope to how that's used in the future and to the knowledge and experience of somebody using that in the future. It's a blessing and a curse to have you guys take officials like you and Lance, where you guys study the rule book and you guys understand line by line these rules and things. And this is something Chun and I have talked about, that you guys, and I'll quote Chun on this, the better you are, the bigger the curse, because you guys are going to call things based on what's in the book that aren't normally called by lesser officials, or people who don't read as much, people who don't understand line by line what it says. So I think you have to, it's there's no right answer for here, if that makes sense. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, for sure, and ultimately, I think the game there's ebbs and flows. I think one play in any game is not going to dictate it. One call. There was a in that game. There was a controversial call from the back judge that went for that team, and the other team was asking for a challenge and all of that. And I tried to actually save that other team $50 because they were trying to challenge a judgment call. And so I explained to them, look, you can't challenge a judgment call. You can challenge procedure, but in this case, the official that was on the back line said the touchdown was in, and even if you think it was out, that was his judgment call, and there's nothing you can do. So don't spend your $50 and let's keep it rolling. And that's how that game played out. So Lance, you have any thoughts on that, or you want to stay away from it? What do you want to do?
You made the call, so you made the call, and based on what you're, you saw what you saw, so you made the call, and we, as I've always said, okay, next play. What's next?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep.
Like, it's very hard for me to overturn anything. Like, people will say, You're the white hat. You can overturn. I'm like, yeah, I can overturn, but I can also kick you out. So what do you want? I mean,
Yep.
what you want, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, and I will say to this point though, Lance, that when you and me are working together, when you see something and I throw a flag and
Mm-hmm.
you see something different, you still hear me out
Mm-hmm.
and you let me explain what I saw,
Mm-hmm.
and then you remind me that you're better than me, and I need to pick my flag up. So
Yeah.
but ultimately, Lance, I will continue to voice my praise to you. You have taught me so much, and this past weekend, having the opportunity to work with you both in contact and non-contact, I learned a lot. Now, I just want to say that I know Camel City boasts so much about contact, and it's the best of the
Was
best and all across the
was
board.
not a good
But
weekend. Was not a
but
good weekend for Camel City.
but let's get right into the contact formats. So
Who
it's,
won?
I mean,
Let's just say who
you know,
won.
yeah, I mean YTG, and I don't know if it was a Dallas or a Florida or a New Orleans YTG. Chun, do you take claim for that, or what
Uh,
do you?
Well, yeah.
uh, first of all, I was just as surprised as everybody else that they were there and they did register to play contact. So let's just start with that part. The way they went about it as well, without having any blocking backs and all that kind of stuff, was actually kind of masterful. The fact that they were winning games the way they did. Now, what happened towards the end of that, all I know is Chun, I need you, Chun, I need you, Chun, I need you. And
You can just say my name.
yeah. And next thing you know, I smell pepper spray everywhere, and we're having to
Yeah, I'm
vacate.
still tasting it.
Yeah. So, and I was talking to Pat today, and he said, what's going on with y'all, man? Why y'all can't get shit right? Why people keep fighting? I'm like, thanks a lot, bro. That's our fault.
Let me
Yeah.
find out who said that. I'm gonna call him.
Yeah. But yeah, contact was different up in Virginia, and it was kind of interesting to see the teams from up north, northeast, not really caring too much about reputation or the teams from the south. They play good football up there. I will give them credit.
Yeah, I mean, me and Lance were in rec for five contact, and I mean the competition was really good. Start to finish, and that championship. I mean, we had one overtime game right in the semi, or yep,
Yeah.
and then the championship came down to it. I mean, those were exciting games. Once again, I'm sorry, Jacob, but it just seems like the SEC of contact football is continuing to fail. Is this like the Clemson years? Is this where you guys just don't have the recruits, or what's going on?
It's a wave, brother. You just gotta ride the wave. You gotta ride the highs and ride the lows.
Okay.
And the thing about it is interestingly enough, and I got to give you guys a shout out. I got to give Pocket Rockets a shout out. I didn't know, with who they were taking up there. I didn't know their roster. I wasn't sure how they were going to fare in pro. I almost thought they should have played in rec, and they were actually the highest seeded of all the Camel City teams. And they went in and they beat Hard Target. They came down to the last play with free smoke. They were with these.
Can I interject for 1 second? Can you repeat the two team names? What were their names again?
What's that?
The two team names?
Free Smoke and Hard Target. Pocket Rockets.
And what was the other one?
That's what I said. It's Pocket Rockets, Hard Target, and Free Smoke are the ones I named.
Pocket Rocket and Hard Target?
Pocket Rockets are from North Carolina.
Okay, go on.
I hate you so much.
You
did. Hard Target is formerly Judah. But they played these teams really well. And, you got to tip your hat to these guys. But it's ups and downs. It's playing and getting rhythm and getting consistency with a lot of these guys. And I think something that I'm not making an excuse, but what may have helped the DMV the week prior to ECN, they just played their playoffs. North Carolina had been sitting for about a month. Again, it's not an excuse. They didn't play well. So you gotta strap up and keep moving. So I think it's just a wave. There were a few years ago we were every division we were winning. Now we're middle of the pack. A few years probably right back on top, and a few years after that be back right in the middle of everything again.
Oh, for sure, and that big ordeal that happened on the eighth field. I mean, I think that was definitely anticlimactic because ultimately, I just as a fan of flag football to see main event and YTG possibly have two games. That I think that would have been a huge matchup and something that would have brought a lot of good attention to the tournament. Unfortunately, something bad happened, and I mean, thankfully, it didn't get worse, and more police didn't have to show up. It sounded like the police handled it the best way they could, and
Yeah.
and I'm thankful for that. Me and Lance were on the coed fields, just minding our own business. No, I didn't even know. And at one point, I looked over and just saw like 15 golf carts on the field, and like just. I mean, I feel like eighth contact is just loud in general, so it just always seems like there's a fight going on. It just I don't know. Again, I came from playing eighth contact, but can we just get rid of that format already? Like,
Hey, you guys know what I said earlier when I got on. It's a tradition, right? It's a traditional format. It's where a lot of people get their start. But I also feel like it's also a dying format. It's really difficult for these guys to get 30 people together and to get them organized to play. I mean, it's when I can get 12 people and go play 4 different formats.
Yeah, yeah. Lance, just kind of overall review East Coast Nationals. This was your first time. Give me your. Oh, what? Second time. Oh, okay. Best and worst.
Weather sucked, rain, but that's fine. It is what it is. Can't control it. I think the best part of it was obviously hanging out with you guys, but also just it for the most part, it was actually good football. Got to watch, like for instance, Coed Pro, watch the Supreme win it. So that was a good. We did, I think, their championship semis and quarters. So that was good to see them play. And then obviously got to ref with Ant contact. So mind you, is there. But it was just good football. It was, I mean, outside of the weather, it was actually just really good football to watch overall. So it wasn't too bad and nothing too crazy. And it wasn't. Yeah, outside of the weather, it was just really good football for the most part.
Sean, how about you? Best and worst from East Coast Nationals.
Kind of gonna piggyback on what Lance said. Worst of it was that was shitty, bro. I've been sick ever since I've been home. Like I told Jacob, I feel like I've ate a Dollar Tree egg roll or something like that.
Wait till San Antonio. You're gonna eat a Dollar Tree egg roll.
My body.
Hey yo.
Diddy, pause.
I'm gonna go to the Dollar Tree and buy an egg roll, guys. Quit making it weird.
Right. The adjective since Jacob's been on the show has been we were good before him, but
wow, so blame me.
The best part of it was the efficiency of the crew and the refs. I don't think I've worked a tournament where the refs were where they're supposed to be, ready to go. Lunches weren't a factor for them. Weather wasn't a factor for them. They were ready to ref and ready to get it going. That's hard for us to do. LA, we had weather as well. If y'all remember that, how bad that was. And Vegas, we had weather, even though it was dry, it was very hot, very humid, but it wasn't East Coast Nationals. The rest were ready. I never had to search for an official, and that part was good.
All right, Jacob, best and worst.
So I'll say the worst, and I'll kind of I won't play out the weather thing because the weather sucked. It was cold. It was rainy. It was I was very underprepared. But the quantity of officials that we had a lot. A lot of people back out. We had a bit of a struggle trying to get people there. It was difficult at times. I think Saturday worked relatively well. We were able to plug and play. Sunday was a bit of a cat and mouse game. Between youth and adult, we had a plan, and we were able to fortunately kind of make things work. And I'm thankful for everyone's flexibility and willingness to do whatever needed to be done to get the job done. Very thankful for this group for how flexible you guys were. Pause. Let me say that real quick so I don't get Dollar Tree egg rolled again. But no, for real, take Joe, for instance. Joe was done on Sunday at like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I had to call him 30 minutes later and say, hey, bro, I need you to strap your shoes back up, put your stripes back on. I need you to come back up here for one more game for youth because we had an official leave, and he ended up doing 3. So, just an example off the top of my head. You guys did whatever I needed, didn't question anything, didn't gripe about being out in the cold weather and, saying this sucks. But, like I said, I really appreciate that. As far as good for me, quality of officiating, man, we had a great, you take away the fight in 8-man contact, you take away the stupidity, which I'm going to touch on after everyone goes before we get off the call with the youth fields. You take away those 2 incidents, we had a great weekend. You're going to have officials make judgment calls that people don't agree with. We're going to have officials that miss things. We're going to have things that don't work. But we had a lot of good. Both days started on time. Both days ended relatively on time. I'm pretty sure we were, start and stop. I'm super thankful for. What are you looking at?
There's a random man just came in. I'm so sorry. He is Anthony.
I can't wait to go back and watch that. But no, man,
edit that out, Anthony. Edit that out, man.
No, it's in there, man. But no, man. Overall, like the quality of play was great. The competition for 5-man contact. We've joked about the Camel City teams not doing super great, and that's okay. The bracket itself was fantastic. I thought that was one of the most competitive brackets I've ever seen in this era of where 5-man contact is. 5-man non-contact had some great play. I think across the board we had great teams there that showed out. I think it was just a great weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I had so much fun in contact rec. Sometimes I get a little. Sometimes with rec, you kind of go into it thinking, okay, these guys, especially with the men, they all think they know what they're talking about. They all think they know the rules, and they don't. I actually had a lot of fun in the rec divisions this past weekend. I just feel like they were a lot more willing. I think also in general with contact, they're more willing to just let things play, and they might bring things up, but if they don't know the rule, they won't really argue it. Especially when me and Lance, like you said, we have confidence about the rule book, so we explain it to them, and they just keep it moving. So I appreciated that about it. It was on Saturday morning in women's. I got to say this. Shout out to Level Up. I've seen them play a few times. That is a team that I wish they would travel more because they can hang with anybody in the women's division. And I mean, they just have athletes across the board. They can get pretty out of control with how they talk to officials. But sometimes you just gotta, just ease them down a little bit, and they take their anger and they focus it on the team that they're playing. I mean, they were mad that I let. They wanted to just run out the clock, and they couldn't because the other team had 2 timeouts. And then they went and scored a touchdown the next play, and they were like, "Can we be done now? Can we finish?" I'm like, "Well, points matter in pool play, but sure, okay, whatever. Like, go ahead." It's but they just get amped up, so it's cool to see a team like that. And then yeah, it was just a great weekend. I had fun seeing y'all, and especially knowing I'm not going to San Antonio. So the next one for me will be Tampa, and then Nashville. Just real quick, fellas, I just want to talk about what's next, what you have coming up this weekend, if anything. I think Lance, you're taking the weekend off, but I have a tournament here down in the LA area. It's Show You Right Zone, or as some call it, Scam You Right. And and they're running a draft tournament, so I'm excited about that. I brought the guys from Southern California, Olaf and his crew, so they're gonna come up and help me officiate that. So I'm excited. We're gonna have a little fun with that, and I think it's a good mix of LA and Bay Area players. So that'll be cool. Jacob, you have anything? You got a youth tournament or anything going
Nah,
on?
man, this weekend's off for me, man. We're staying home with the family. Gonna do a little bit of stuff around the house for Mother's Day and all that good stuff.
Nice. What's the next thing you have? San Antonio?
So actually, I have a youth league. Jordan and I will have youth league playoffs the weekend of the 18th here in Winston for a local league we're helping out with. So we'll do that, and then it'll be San Antonio after that.
Nice. Sean, how about you?
Unfortunately, I got Dallas Stars hockey playoffs. Shit.
Go Avalanche.
Flag football wise, I'm free. But Tuesday of next week and Friday of next week, we start league play. And then we'll be doing some traveling coming up, like I said, for San Antonio. And I have some other leagues that I appoint officials to, but nothing that I run. So it's going to be some money-making months coming up here over the summer.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'll definitely stay away from the state of Texas for a while, and I'll just keep bringing the noise and say whatever I want about Dallas officials.
Right.
But but anyway, but to be real, CK he did a really good job. I appreciated him coming over for the championship, and he definitely did a good job. So shout out to CK. I've only seen him as a player, and so it was good to see him jump into the ref role and handle his business. So all right, cool.
How you feel about him as a player, though? You can be honest. He's not going to watch.
He's not going to watch.
He's just like every other Dallas player. They just whine and they talk and they want every call and blah blah blah. It's just the same. Dallas is Dallas, man. It's just how it goes.
No
argument. Two things about him. Number one, he did do a great job this past weekend. I got a ton of compliments about him. And I think the reason was that, when he first showed up, I told him, I said, hey, everything Chun's taught you about refereeing, just forget it. This is what I need you to really do. Nah, man. All jokes aside, like he's fantastic. I think you got a great one for the league at home, bro.
Yeah.
He did a great job. I'm hoping he signs up for San Antonio. I got to get with him. Right. Make sure we can get that locked in.
Right.
Nice. Cool. All right. Well, just a social media plug. Well, number one, shout out to Body Armor again, right, Chun? You want to give another? Yep.
Why do you have the hand motions down for that? You're like the worst hand model ever.
He's ready. So check us out on every social media. We got Facebook, Instagram. We're on YouTube, Spotify. We got TikTok. We're everywhere. So check out this episode. We're gonna keep rolling, and we'll have another fun one next week. Thanks, y'all, for coming on.
Appreciate it. Be good.